Have you ever found yourself wide awake at precisely 3:14 a.m., staring at your ceiling with a racing mind and no clear reason why you woke up? Today, we are decoding the exact neurochemical shifts that occur in your brain between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., why your body's natural cortisol clock triggers sudden arousal, how sleep-tracking anxiety, known as orthosomnia, might actually be worsening your insomnia, and the evidence-based protocol to fall back asleep instantly. Scientists suggest that waking up in the middle of the night isn't just bad luck or a loud neighbor. It is a deeply wired, neurobiological threshold event. According to national health surveys published by the CDC and the National Center for Health Statistics, more than 18% of American adults experience chronic trouble staying asleep most days of the week, while over 35% fail to get the recommended 7 hours of continuous sleep. Driven by this national sleep deficit, Americans spent over $8 billion on sleep technology last year alone, purchasing sleep trackers, smart mattresses, and blue light blocking wearables. Yet, despite millions of people wearing sleep-tracking devices, middle-of-the-night awakenings remain at record highs. To understand why your brain wakes up at 3 a.m., we first have to look at your internal sleep architecture. Your sleep is not a uniform block. It consists of 90-minute ultradian cycles divided between non-REM and REM sleep. During the first 4 hours of sleep, your brain prioritizes stage 3 slow-wave sleep, the deep, physically restorative phase where human growth hormone is released and blood pressure drops. But by 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., your brain completes its primary deep sleep quota and transitions into cycles dominated by light NREM and vivid REM sleep. According to peer-reviewed neurobiology research archived in PMC, 3 critical physiological mechanisms converge during this exact window. The adenosine pressure drop, adenosine, the cellular waste product that builds up while you are awake to create sleep pressure, is almost completely cleared by your brain by 3 a.m. With low sleep pressure, your arousal threshold becomes significantly lower. The circadian cortisol surge. Clinical data from the National Institutes of Health (NIH) shows that your body's stress hormone, cortisol, hits its absolute lowest point around midnight and begins a natural, circadian-driven upward climb between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. to prepare your body for waking up. If you are chronically stressed, this natural cortisol surge overshoots, triggering a full sympathetic fight-or-flight response, core body temperature fluctuations. Your core temperature reaches its lowest daily nadir around 3 a.m. If your bedroom environment is too warm, your thermoregulatory center in the preoptic area of the hypothalamus triggers microarousals to cool the body down. While cortisol spikes explain when you wake up, clinical sleep medicine identifies 5 major underlying physiological triggers that turn occasional awakenings into a chronic nightmare. 1. Silent sleep apnea and microhypoxia. According to data from the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, over 80% of moderate to severe obstructive sleep apnea cases in the U.S. remain undiagnosed. When upper airway muscles relax during light REM sleep, oxygen saturation drops. Your brain perceives this oxygen deprivation as suffocation, spiking adrenaline to force you awake, often without you even realizing you stopped breathing. 2. The alcohol glutamate rebound. Drinking alcohol before bed helps you fall asleep faster because it binds to inhibitory GABA receptors. However, as your liver metabolizes the alcohol around 2 a.m. to 3 a.m., your brain experiences a sharp glutamatergic rebound, a sudden flood of excitatory neurotransmitters that causes instant arousal and night sweats. 3. Silent GERD gastroesophageal reflux. Lying flat for hours allows stomach acid to creep into the lower esophagus. Even if you don't feel classic heartburn, this microscopic acid irritation triggers the vagus nerve, signaling the brain to initiate a protective microarousal. 4. Nocturia and vasopressin dysfunction. Normally, your pituitary gland increases vasopressin antidiuretic hormone at night to concentrate your urine. High chronic stress or insulin resistance disrupts vasopressin production, causing your bladder to fill rapidly and wake you up multiple times per night. 5. Late night light and circadian misalignment. Exposure to blue and bright ambient light past 9 p.m. delays your brain's melatonin synthesis. This creates a weak circadian rhythm signal, making your sleep architecture fragile and prone to fragmentation during the second half of the night. This brings us to the modern $32 billion global sleep tech market. Millions of people now wear smartwatches and rings that assign daily sleep scores. But can sleep tracking actually ruin your sleep? Researchers at Johns Hopkins Medicine and Harvard Medical School coined the medical term orthosomnia, a clinical condition where patients develop an unhealthy perfectionist obsession with optimizing their sleep data. Critical neurological reality. When you wake up at 3 a.m. and immediately think, my sleep score is going to be ruined tomorrow, your brain's amygdala interprets that stress as an immediate threat. It floods your bloodstream with epinephrine, adrenaline, and heart rate-boosting norepinephrine. The moment you worry about sleep, you activate the exact neurological pathways that prevent sleep. If you wake up at 3 a.m., how do you reset your nervous system using clinical neuroscience? Here's the step-by-step protocol backed by the American Academy of Sleep Medicine. 1. The absolute no-clock rule. When you wake up, do not look at the time on your phone or alarm clock. Seeing through instant mathematical processing in your prefrontal cortex, I only have 3 hours left until my alarm, spiking cortisol and beta brainwave activity. Keep all light-emitting screens completely out of sight. 2. The physiological sigh. Down-regulate the sympathetic system. If your heart is racing, perform 3 to 5 cycles of the physiological sigh. A double inhalation through the nose followed by a long, slow exhalation through the mouth. Neural research from Stanford University proves this specific breathing pattern offloads carbon dioxide and rapidly engages the parasympathetic vagus nerve, slowing heart rate within seconds. 3. The 20-minute reset rule. If you remain awake for more than 20 minutes, get out of bed. Remaining in bed while anxious conditions your brain's hippocampus to associate your mattress with wakefulness and stress. Move to a dimly lit room, keep the environment cool, and engage in a low dopamine task, like reading a physical book, until sleepiness returns. If chronic middle-of-the-night awakenings have been happening to you for more than 3 weeks, quick hacks aren't enough. Here are the gold standard medical solutions backed by clinical trials: glycemic stabilization before bed. According to metabolic data from the NLM, sudden 3 a.m. awakenings can be triggered by reactive nocturnal hypoglycemia, a rapid crash in blood sugar caused by high-sugar late-night snacks. If you eat before bed, prioritize complex fats and proteins like a spoonful of almond butter over refined carbohydrates to keep nocturnal glucose flat. 2. The morning sunlight protocol. Anchor your suprachiasmatic nucleus. View 10 to 15 minutes of direct morning sunlight within 30 minutes of waking up. Sunlight photons hit your retinal ganglion cells, signaling the master clock in your brain to start a timer for nighttime melatonin release 14 hours later, locking your sleep architecture in place. 3. The 4-hour gastrointestinal cutoff. Enforce a strict cutoff. No alcohol, heavy meals, or excessive liquids within 3 to 4 hours of bedtime. This prevents the 3 a.m. alcohol glutamate rebound, stops nocturnal acid reflux, and gives your kidneys time to process fluids before you lie down. 4. Evidence-based targeted supplementation. Clinical studies in PubMed Central highlight 2 specific compounds for sleep maintenance: magnesium l-threonate or bisglycinate, which crosses the blood-brain barrier to activate GABA receptors, and glycine 3 grams before bed, which may lower core body temperature and promotes deep slow-wave stability. To summarize what modern neurobiology and sleep medicine prove, waking up briefly at 3 a.m. is actually a natural part of human sleep architecture as you transition between sleep cycles. It only becomes chronic insomnia when psychological anxiety, late-night light exposure, and nocturnal cortisol spikes turn a brief microarousal into full-blown wakefulness. To optimize your sleep quality naturally, keep your bedroom cool, around 65 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 degrees Celsius, to assist your body's natural 3 a.m. temperature nadir. Stop monitoring your sleep data obsessively. Treat sleep wearables as rough trends rather than absolute grades. Avoid high glycemic late-night snacks and blue light past 9 o'clock p.m. Stay scientifically informed and protect your nervous system. To your health.